It was business news anchor Maria Bartiromo who said the average trade of an individual is in the thousands of shares, whereas the industrial trades can be in millions of shares. Clearly, the bigger the order, the bigger the move in the stock. In this video, we're going to explain stock market ticker information. We're going to determine the total value of a trade from ticker information, and we're going to determine the trade volumes from ticker information. All to answer the question, how is stock market data transmitted to the investor? Before we get into it, let's make sure we're ready for this lesson by looking at warm-up number 2. Let C be the number of calls per minute, let M be the number of minutes, and let T be the total number of calls. What does CM represent? With C's being the calls per minute and M being the total minutes of calls, then this is going to give us the total number of calls made. And what does T over C represent? Well, if T is the total number of calls made and C is the calls per minute, this is going to tell us how many minutes in total were spent making calls. Now, here's a problem you will be able to do by the end of this lesson. Laura is interested in trades of Abercrombie and Fitch. She has been following the upticks and downticks for the past 2 days. She knows that A&F closed on Tuesday at $20.68, with a high of $21.25 and a low of $20.50. There were 11,902,000 shares traded on that day. She found that Monday's closing price was $21.23. The high was $21.30 and the low was $19.95. The volume for Monday was 16,537,000 shares. What was the net money flow from Monday to Tuesday, positive or negative? We're going to calculate the average of each day's high, low, and close, and then multiply that by the daily volume. So if we're looking at Monday, we're going to take 21.3 plus 19.95 plus 21.23, divide that by 3 to get the average, which is approximately $20.83. Now we're going to multiply that by the volume of sales, which was 16,537,000. This is going to give us $344,465,710. So now we have to find Tuesday's average. For that, we're going to take $21.25 and $20.50 and $20.68. Divide that by 3 to get approximately $20.81. Multiply it by its volume of sales, 11,902,000. This is going to give us 247,680,620. So there is a negative net money flow from Monday to Tuesday. Investors are always interested in how the market is doing. You can refer to a variety of published information systems to track the performance of a certain type of stock. Perhaps the most well-known of these systems is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, also known as the Dow. The Dow follows the daily trading action of the 30 largest public companies. Historically, these were industrial companies, but the corporations included in the Dow have grown to include those in telecommunications, pharmaceuticals, broadcasting, retail, insurance, and more. The Dow is a well-known, respected average that offers a broad picture of how the market is performing from day to day. Investors wanting specific information often turn to another source. One of the first stock information transmission machines was invented by Thomas Edison in 1869. It was known as the Universal Stock Ticker and had a printing speed of about 1 character per second. The machine was known as the ticker because of the ticking sound that it made as printed tape came out of it. This ticker tape machine replaced the need for handwritten and hand-delivered messages about stock trades. Stock tickers in different buildings were connected by telegraph machines. The printed tape would contain a ticker symbol that was unique to a given company. Once the company was identified by the symbol, the ticker would print information about the number of shares traded, the prices of the shares, and any changes in the direction of the price of the share of stock. While actual stock ticker machines are now a thing of the past, the idea of transmitting this information is not. The ticker machines have been replaced by scrolling data that appears on electronic billboards, computers, and TV screens. Many financial TV programs have stock information scrolling across the bottom of the screen during the trading day. The stock ticker lets you know about the stock transaction, the trade that has occurred. The ticker offers some of the following information in coded format. The stock symbol or ticker symbol, the letter or letters used to identify a corporation whose shares are traded on a stock market, are stock symbols or ticker symbols. Shares traded is the number of shares bought or sold in a single transaction. Shares traded are listed on the sticker using a shorthand information system. For example, 10K indicates 10,000 shares traded, 10M indicates 10 million shares traded, and 10B means 10 billion shares are traded. Rarely seen. The trading price per share may be displayed on the ticker preceded by the @ symbol, meaning that each share was traded at a specific price. The @ symbol is not always used. Directional arrows. Arrows indicating whether the traded price of a single share is greater than the previous day's closing price is an up arrow, or a less than a previous day's closing price, a down arrow. The following examples show how to interpret stock ticker information. Let's examine the stock market ticker information. Marcy is following the stock market ticker scrolling across the bottom of her TV screen on a cable business station. She has purchased some shares of Visa Incorporated last week and is interested in seeing if there are any current trades. She knows that Visa Inc. has the ticker symbol V. She saw the following information. V12K at 72.73, up 0.12. What can Marcy learn from these line symbols? The letter V indicates that the trade has been made for a certain amount of Visa shares. The next piece of information, 12K, indicates the volume of the most recent trade was 12,000 shares. Each of those shares was traded at $72.73. This price was up 12 cents from the previous day's closing price of one share of Visa Inc. Let's check our understanding. Cleavon knows that General Electric has a ticker symbol of GE. What can Cleavon learn from the following line symbol? The ticker indicates that 22,000 shares of GE were traded at $29.49 per share, which is down 50 cents from the previous closing price. Now, let's extend our understanding. Had the trading price of GE transactions been at $30.05, what number would have appeared after the direction arrow? And explain your answer. Well, we know that it traded at $29.40, and that was down by 50 cents, which means that yesterday's closing price was $29.90. Now, if the trade went for $30.05, we know that this will be up some amount of money. We just need to know up by how much. So $30.05 minus $29.90 is going to give us 15 cents. So it would have been up 15. Tom needed money for graduate school tuition. He called his broker and asked her to sell all 3,000 shares of his Coca-Cola, or KO, shares on Wednesday as soon as the trading prices hit $44 per share. Tom knew that Coca-Cola closed at $44.25 on Tuesday. How will this trade appear on the ticker? Now, we already know that we're going to have KO selling, so this is going to give us a KO. We also know that he is selling 3,000 shares, which is 3K. Now, we're going to buy it at $44 per share, sell it at $44 per share, which, since it last closed at $44.25, this is going to be down 0.25. Let's check our understanding. What would the previous day's close for a share of Coca-Cola be if the ticker had read KO 3K at 44 up 0.25? Well, if they sold at $44 a piece and this was up a quarter, that means we would subtract 25 cents from the sale price, giving us $43.75. The total value of a trade is determined by multiplying the number of shares traded by the trading price. This value does not include any fees. Now let's determine the total value of a trade from the ticker information. Toni purchased 15,000 shares of stock of Target Corporation at $78.43 per share. Her trade appeared on a stock ticker as TGT 15K at 78.43, down 0.17. What was the total value of the trade? Well, each share cost Toni $78.43. We're going to multiply the number of shares by the price to find the value of the actual trade. This means 15,000 times 78.43, and this is going to give us 1,176,450. So that the total value of her trade was $1,176,450. Let's check our understanding. Suppose Toni made her purchase at the previous day's closing price. What would have been the difference between the values of the trades? First, we need to determine the previous day's close. So we take 78.43. Now, we know that it went down 17 cents, so we're going to add that 17 cents back in to get us $78.60. Now, had Toni purchased her 15,000 shares at $78.60, the total value would have been $1,179,000. The difference between the trades would be the end from the first example. Now, in the last example, we had $1,176,450. So if we subtract that from what was actually done in the last problem, we get that there is a $2,550 difference. Trade volume can appear in decimal formats on the stock ticker. For example, 2.5K is 2.5 thousand, or 2.5 times 1,000, or 2,500. The symbol 3890,000 shares can be expressed in ticker notation by using the symbol M to represent millions. To determine the number of millions in 3,890,000, we divide by a million, moving the decimal 6 places left. We get 3.89 million, and it is symbolized by 3.89M. Now, let's determine the trade volume from ticker information. Grandpa Rich left his 3 grandchildren, Nicole, Jeff, and Kristen, a total of 87,500 shares of Apple in his will. The grandchildren sold all of the shares at the price of $96.91 on Friday. The closing price of Apple on Thursday was $94.83. How did this trade appear on the stock ticker? So we're going to divide the total number of shares by 1,000. Moving the decimal point 3 places to the left for 85,000, or for 87,500, is going to give us 87.5K. The volume of 87,500 shares is 87.5K on the ticker. Because the shares were sold on Friday at that price, that was $2.08 higher than the previous day's close. An upward directional arrow indicates the increase. The trade symbol is going to appear as AAPL 87.5K at 96.91, up arrow 2.08. Let's check our understanding of this. Express 0.15 M shares traded using the K symbol. So if we have a 0.15, but this is million. So if we understand that they have a million that would look like this, this means we get 150,000, all by moving the decimal point. But we want to represent this as thousands, which means eliminating these, so we get 150K. Some stock traders follow customized tickers that offer trade-to-trade information. The term tick is used whenever there is a change in the price of a share from one trade to the next. The trade is an uptick if the price is at least 1 cent higher than the previous trade. The trade is a down tick if the price is lower. These tick changes contribute to a type of market analysis known as money flow. When a stock is purchased at an uptick, it is a positive money flow. When it is purchased at a downtick, it is a negative money flow. A calculated indicator that the average of the day's high, low, and close multiplied by the volume of the day is the daily money flow. This calculation can be compared with that from the previous trading day and indicates whether there was a positive or negative money flow. If more shares were bought on the uptick than the downtick, net money flow is positive because more investors were willing to pay a price above the market price. Laura is interested in trades of Abercrombie & Fitch. She has been following the upticks and downticks for the past 2 days. She knows that A&F closed on Tuesday at $20.68, with a high of $21.25 and a low of $20.50. There were 11,902,000 shares traded on that day. She found that Monday's closing price was $21.23. The high was $21.30 and the low was $19.95. The volume for Monday was 16,537,000 shares. What was the net money flow from Monday to Tuesday, positive or negative? We're going to calculate the average of each day's high, low, and close, and then multiply that by the daily volume. So if we're looking at Monday, we're going to take 21.3 plus 19.95 plus 21.23, divide that by 3 to get the average, which is approximately $20.83. Now we're going to multiply that by the volume of sales, which was 16,537,000. This is going to give us $344,465,710. So now we have to find Tuesday's average. For that, we're going to take $21.25 and $20.50 and $20.68. Divide that by 3 to get approximately $20.81. Multiply it by its volume of sales, 11,902,000. This is going to give us 247,680,620. So there is a negative net money flow from Monday to Tuesday. Let's check our understanding. Let H represent the day's high, L represent the low, C represent the day's close, and V represent the day's volume. Write a formula that can be used to determine the day's money flow. Well, we already know that we want to find the average, which is H plus L plus C divided by 3. That is our average, and we multiply our average by the volume sold so that we now have our expression.